Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. It is another beautiful Sunday here in Los Angeles. I am back to the city and no longer in the mountains. So, thank you and welcome. And I love having you here with me. So, as we continue with our conversations on language shapes the way that we see the world and we interact with one another and how we interact with one another. Last week we talked about the phrase I am and its impact on your identity and destiny. And this week we are going to talk about the phrase you are and its significance in communications, in relationship, particularly the healthy one, as our language is influenced our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Positive language motivates us, it inspires us, it uplifts us, and it makes us feel good. Versus negative language, it brings us down, it makes us feel terrible about ourselves, it shapes the way that we see others, and it discourages us. And so the phrase you are speak directly to someone's identity, to their core, just as the word I am referring to you, your own sense of self. And so that has a great impact on the dynamic of your interactions with the other person and the quality of your relationship. So let's see how this impacts the uses of your you are statements on your personal and professional successes or failure when it's not being used in the way that is encouraging. So what happens psychologically when you're using the phrase you are in a positive context? As you may have guessed, it boosts self-esteem and confidence. It reinforces a positive self-image, and it encourages positive behaviors and habits. Affirmative statements like you are capable, you can do this, reinforce this belief in us and our abilities. Hearing this helps you recognize your own potential and strengths and boosting your confidence. Important is that you also have to let that in and believe that. Don't just ignore it. And with consistent positive feedback, it helps build a strong positive self-image, affirming your own sense of self-worth. And with positive statements, it motivates us to keep going, doing good things, and continue improving ourselves. For example, imagine you are an employee at a company and your manager frequently acknowledges your strength and contribution, telling you are incredible at problem solving. You are talented. This would boost your confidence and making you want to take on more challenging projects, I would imagine. And over time, your manager continues to provide positive feedback, such as you are an essential part of the team and you're doing an excellent job. This consistent positive reinforcement helps you see yourself as a valuable and competent professional, encourages you to maintain a high standard of practice, which then propagates you to do well, excel, and grow professionally and personally. And what happens when you use you are in a negative context? Take a guess. It leads to self-doubt, low self-esteem. It reinforces negative self-image and discourages growth and effort. Negative statements like "you are useless," "why can't you get it right," can hurt your self-worth and self-esteem, making you doubt of your abilities and value. And hearing negative feedback over and over again can make you internalize that. It wears you down and can make you believe those statements over time, and as that's who you are as a person. And even worse, if you already have a doubt of your ability and hearing you are incapable, that further reinforcing that and cement that as your core belief. So believing statements like "you are not smart" can stop you from trying new things. These negative labels can make you avoid challenges because you're afraid of failing, which lead to you stop growing and staying stagnant. And with that can lead to multitude of mental health issues. So an example would be, let's say you are an employee at a busy office and your boss often criticizes your work, telling you you are always making mistakes. This makes you feel unsure about your ability. And over time, your boss keeps giving negative feedback, saying things like, "you are not meeting expectation. You are often late in delivering your project." This frequent criticism makes you see yourself as incompetent. And because of this, you may start avoid taking on new tasks, fearing of more criticisms. And when your boss saying, "you can't handle this project," it discourages you from trying new things, and you may begin to believe that you can't succeed and that you're incompetent and you're not capable, which then would make you want to put in less effort, stop trying, and then it's hurting you professionally and personally. It's diminished, if not hinders, your own growth and development. Now, that is on the psychological effect. What do you think would happen emotionally when you use "you are" in positive context? As you can imagine, it would foster feelings of being valued and appreciated, enhance emotional well-being. It makes you feel good, and it also strengthening the bond in the relationship. Recognizing your contributions and qualities enhances your sense of self-worth. Positive feedback generally can boost your mood, make you feel happier. And when you're happier, you're more likely to do more things. Compliments and affirmations can really help build closeness and trust in the relationships. And on the flip side, when it's being used negatively, it causes, as you can imagine, emotional distress, lack of confidence, feeling inadequate, cause a strained emotional connections in the relationship, and it can lead to withdrawal, shutdown, and guess what? Resentment. Hurtful statements can cause emotional anguish and insecurity, hurting your sense of self-esteem, your sense of worth. And naturally, we want to protect and preserve ourselves from negative comments. So you would withdraw, create distance in the relationship. And with that, it reduces the emotional closeness and also weakening the relationships. And with continuous negative feedback and you are statement, you would withdraw, shut down emotionally, and feel resentful, which further damaging the relationship and making positive interactions less likely to happen because of the fear. If I engage, I'm going to hear criticism and negativity. So it's better for me to not engage because this is how I am going to protect my sense of peace and sense of self because I can't control you from what you're choosing to say. So you can see the impact here. And now I want you to imagine if you are working on a really tough project, but your manager keep focusing on your mistakes, saying things like you are always making errors, you are not reliable, and you are not supported with your teammates and the company's goal. This statement can make you feel inadequate and not motivated, create a distance between you and your manager, and reducing the emotional trust. And over time, the continuous feedback makes you, as you may have guessed, emotionally withdrawn and feel resentful, bring down the morale and productivity, and you might end up just looking for a new job elsewhere. On the other hand, let's say when you are part of a teamwork and your manager acknowledges your effort, saying things like, you are so thoughtful in your approach, you are an amazing collaborator. This affirmation makes you feel valued and appreciated by your manager, boosting your mood, productivity because you want to do more, and also increasing job satisfaction and fulfillment. And so this brings us to how your you are can influence someone's behavior. There is a connection between thoughts, feelings, and actions. And so when it has a psychological and emotional impact, naturally it has a hold on your actions as well. So positive statements of you are, it encourages goal setting and achievement because it makes you feel capable. It promotes positive behavior changes by recognizing your effort and strengths, and it makes a difference. And it fosters personal growth. Positive feedback helps you believe in your ability to grow and improve. And with this, it helps you to take on more challenges, put yourself out there. And the more you try, the more you are going to learn and grow and develop personal and professional growth. An example would be, imagine you are an athlete and you have a supportive coach. Your coach often say you are determined and hardworking. You are very disciplined in your training, and you are capable of achieving great results. Guess what these positive words of affirmation would do? It would motivate you to set big goals, stick to your training, and believe in yourself. And as a result, you train harder, you develop better habits and consistency, and you grow both personally with the traits that you are building within yourself with the discipline and habit, and grow professionally with confidence. Conversely, with negative you are statement, as you can imagine, would have the opposite impact. It would undermine confidence and performance, and even make you afraid to try out new things. It discourages efforts. Negative feedback can make you feel like your efforts are useless or unappreciated, so you might stop trying. And it creates negative behavior patterns. Hearing negative feedback with "you are," such as "you are so lazy," "you don't follow through," "you keep failing," "you can't help but let me down," "you or this," "you or that," can make you internalize those negativity and believe it and may act according to those statements. So I want you to think back of your childhood, growing up. What kind of "you are" statements did you often hear? Maybe you have heard both positive and negative. Or maybe you have heard more one than others. Or maybe you have taken on and given more significance to one more than others. If you have heard more of negative "you are" statements, now is the time to change that and start using "you are" in a positive way to change your thought patterns, to change the way you see yourself. And with this way, you will change the way you talk to yourself so that you can also change the way you talk to others. And to stop this negative pattern and negative cycle of negative "you are" statements that you use on yourself and may pass out to your children, your partner, and the people around you. And now this brings us to "you are" in relationships. And with positive usage of "you are," as you can imagine, it would encourage open and honest communication. By creating a safe space for sharing thoughts, feelings, which lead to better conversations, it builds trust and intimacy because compliments and affirmations make people feel loved and valued and appreciated, building closeness and more trusting in the relationship. It promotes mutual respect and understanding. By recognizing and affirming each other's strengths, makes you feel seen and heard, building empathy and understanding, leading to healthier relationships. An example would be, let's say you are in a supportive relationship where your friend often say, "You are my rock. You are really good at listening. And you are incredibly compassionate. And you are so kind to me." These positive words reveal your friend's perception of you, the values of your friendship. And this would encourage open and honest communications, which help build trust and intimacy, building a strong bond in the relationship. And with negative usage of "you are," as you can imagine, would have a reverse effect of what we just went over. It would create tension and conflict. Negative statements can cause arguments and misunderstanding, leading to even more conflicts. It erodes trust and emotional safety. Harsh words can make people feel unsafe and unsupported, and further hurting the relationship, leading to more misunderstanding and miscommunication. And with negative "you are" language, it often confuses the real underlying message that you are trying to get across. Because the "you are" with negative, that's what the person end up hearing. And so it ends up creating more problem in the communication. Now, try to think of, let's say you are in a tense relationship here. And you often tell your partner, or you hear from your partner statements such as, "You're causing problems. You are worthless. You are not supportive. You don't understand. What you're doing is terrible." So these negative words create tension and conflict, leading to frequent arguments and misunderstanding. They also destroy trust and emotional safety, making your partner, or maybe you, feel unsafe, unsupportive, not heard, not understood. And with this, also your true message and intentions further get lost in the mixed bag, causing further issues in communication and weakening the relationship. So, all of this, what do? Let's look at the practical applications when it comes to using the statement that start with "you are," whether in your professional and how you communicate to your colleagues or bosses, or in your personal setting with your family, friends, partner, children, the people around you. Remember to use positive "you are" statement, such as, "You are talented, you are kind, you are value, you are love, you are incredible, you are amazing, you are just absolutely phenomenal." These affirmations, and even better if you can go very specific, you are amazing because you are thoughtful in your words. You are attentive in anticipating needs, and you act on it without me asking you. That will even go a layer deeper in terms of acknowledgement. Because now you're not just saying you are something, but you specifically addressing their behavior, what they do. So statements like that, it helps build confidence and positive self-image and create strength and strong bond in the relationship. And avoid negative "you are" statements, like "you are always wrong," "you are incompetent," which can damage self-esteem and trust. And while you're practicing how to use "you are" in a positive light, it's really, really, really important, I can't stress this enough, is learn to listen. Practice active listening and empathy. Take the time to listen to what the person is saying. Try to understand that before responding. And I'm using the word responding here, not reacting. Responding is when you actually listen and take what the person say and then choosing your word carefully to respond, which help build stronger connections and reduces misunderstanding. And when you provide constructive feedback, make sure to focus on the behavior, not the person's character or traits. So instead of saying "you are lazy," what you can say is, "I've noticed that you didn't complete the task. Can you tell me why? Can we talk about this? Can we discuss this?" This approach focuses on the issues without attacking the person's character. So again, when you are using "you are" in positive affirmations, it helps people grow, stay motivated, and build stronger connections. And in negative statements, it really hurt and make people feel bad, unmotivated, and weaken the relationships. So it's really important to understand how you are statement affects us psychologically, emotionally, and behaviorally. And this knowledge, I hope, would help you to choose your word carefully and use them to create healthier, more supportive relationship and environment. By focusing on positive affirmations and being mindful of how we communicate, we can build trust, encourage personal growth, and making someone feel valued and respected and ourselves included. And so I hope that you remember all of this, but I also know that more than about 94% of communications will be forgotten after 24 hours. So if you don't remember most of this, of what I just said, and can only take away one thing, then here it is. Try your best to avoid starting your sentence with "you are" as much as possible. And when you caught yourself using "you are" statement, make sure that it's followed with something positive. Because once the words are out of your mouth, you can't take it back. And when it's hurtful, they can only be forgiven, but not forgotten. Especially if already have an emotional and psychological damage on someone. If not damage, then at least it was impactful. So how can you apply all of this? It's important for you to start today and start practicing it. So awareness, knowledge is the first step. The second one is to practice. Now, I would love to hear your thoughts or any questions that you may have. I am great. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you for joining us. How can we recover from negative "you are" statement? That is a wonderful question. I think that in order to recover it, first you have to realize that you have used the negative "you are." And so in order to recover, you would need to acknowledge the "you are" statement and maybe possibly even point it out, take personal responsibility of what you said, apologize if you must, and take ownership of that and clarify your intention and the message that you want to get across. And follow up with positive reinforcement and focus on the specific behaviors rather than attacking the person's character. And so that is how you would recover, is acknowledging what you did. And be as specific as you possibly can, because this indicates that you actually recognize and learn so that you can grow. What are some way to turn negative "you are" statement into positive one? Let's see. Instead of saying "you are always late," to turn this from a "you are" statement that focused on a person's character, turn this into the I statement and focus on the behavior. So instead of you are always late, change it to I appreciate it when you arrive on time. This focus on the positive behavior when you see it rather than criticizing the negative behavior. And also you moving away from the you are statement and shift it back to you, to the I statement, because naturally oftentimes when there's a you are, it's send this signal for the person to become almost automatically defensive. And when you are defensive, you are having your swords and your seal up, and you are less likely to take in what the person say. How can we apply the knowledge you are statement in our daily interaction? Practice, and more practice. I can't stress this enough. The more practice that you do, the easier and the better you will get at it. So practice to be mindful of the word choices. Practice in slowing down in your communication so you can actually think, compute, and put together a sentence that is deliverable and landable, so that it would help the person to hear you. So then that would make you feel heard and understood. So practice, in another word. How can we recognize the importance, the impact of our you are statement in others? Oh, this is such a great question. How can we recognize? It is by paying attention to the other person when you are interacting with them. If you say something and their reactions or behavior is positive, is uplifting, they're happy, then most likely you have communicated positively to them. But if you notice that your statements having a negative impact on them, make them feel discouraged, make them withdrawn, make them shut down, and makes them have emotional reactions, then chances are your statement, you are have been a negative one. And so with this, going back to what I mentioned earlier, is slow down in your word choices, and when you speak, then you can trace back, thinking about what you said and how that impact the person. And to answer quickly is pay attention to the other person's behavior and mood. Can your statement influence self-talk? Oh, absolutely, 100%. Because if you think about the phrase you are is not just only when you address another person, but oftentimes it's an automatic response on how you talk to yourself too. Imagine when you mess up something. 9 out of 10 times the automatic response is not I am, it's you are. And this can be, you are such an idiot, or something of that nature when you have a negative self-talk. And so changing the you are, it also helps you influencing on how you talk to yourself, which then going back to the whole I am statement that we discussed last week. And so when you practicing you are statement, you are rewiring your brain in terms of your thought patterns, how you communicate to yourself, and believe it or not, how you talk to yourself essentially lead to how you talk to others. Because if you talk to yourself in a positive light, you are more likely to talk to others in a positive light. But if you talk to yourself in a negative light, guess what? You think that's okay on how to talk to other people because that's how you talk to yourself. So, yes is the answer. And try to use positive you are in a positive light. And even better is do your best to avoid you are in a statement when you talk to others. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. And we went over time. And so, again, I appreciate you sticking around. Be mindful of your you are statements and join us next week as we talk more about effective communication and how it changed your life and your relationship and make you more successful. So remember to like, subscribe, and share for more tips and tools. Be kind to yourself and others. See you next week. Ciao.